Welcome to our pod. By that, I mean on Wednesdays we read. I'm Hannah.
I'm Laura.
And we are two best friends who do a deep dive into a new book series, one book at a time, except when we are on Intermission. And we are covering a special indie author's book. This month we are covering The Heavenly Sword by Alice Poon. And we are finishing the plot of the novel starting on chapter 19. But Laura, before we dive in, what are you reading, watching, and or enjoying?
So I have been enjoying watching Demon Slayer on Netflix. And this is a very fun anime. And it's about this family who they're basically attacked by demons, and a demon turns one of the sisters into a demon herself. And generally, once someone has been turned into a demon, you're left with no choice but to eliminate that person. But her older brother, Tanjiro, decides that he is going to find a cure and not kill his sister, basically. And his sister seems to show a certain amount of restraint and not go after other humans. And so they go on this journey in an attempt to basically cure his sister and change her back into a human. It's very entertaining. I love Tanjiro. Yeah. He's so fun. And I've been really liking the series a lot. I've watched so many episodes of it. It's very good. I like the animation. I think I'm going to try the manga too, just because I feel like I have a little more patience for the mangas versus animes, and I don't know why that is, but this has been one of the few anime that I have actually checked out. I haven't watched a ton of anime, but I have been enjoying Demon Slayer. That's been a good one. I've also been watching The Office again. I'm back on The Office. I don't know what that says about my mental state, because usually it's not great if I'm delving back into rewatching The Office. So there's that.
Yeah.
And
I did start falling asleep to How I Met Your Mother again, which is, I don't think it's good for either of us.
I was talking about this with my therapist, because I said something about, like, I can tell, like, kind of where I'm at mentally by, like, what shows I'm rewatching, because I generally have, like, a rewatch show that I'm going on at any given time. And I told her, like, if things are going really well, it's usually like Parks and Rec. If things are not going as well, for whatever reason, it's The Office or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And she was like, have you ever thought about just changing the show? And I was like, shocked that she would suggest such a thing. Like, how dare you? I have to watch Michael Scott fall into a fountain. Like,
I think about it constantly as I think about how bad How I Met Your Mother has, like, how the enjoyment factor has just got, like, plummeted into hell for me. But I'm like, I think the problem is it's ones I'm falling asleep to. I'm usually not rewatching, but like it is one of those where I'm like, I just know all of these episodes so well that it's so easy to put one on and be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that that's a lot of what it is. It's just, we must both have a certain amount of anxiety that just rewatching a show provides a level of comfort that we can't get from other forms of media.
Yeah.
And I think that that's literally what it is. And I don't know why the selection of show seems to correlate with, like, where we both think we're at.
Yeah.
But
it's not good.
yeah, I do think there's something about, like, me leaning into the more toxic of the mockumentaries, where I'm like, Michael Scott and Jim Halpert are not great people. The more I watch it, I think that, but I still laugh. I don't know. There's still a lot of those moments, but I do think it's just a comfort rewatch for me at this point. And
fair.
Yeah. But Demon Slayer, really fun. I'm going to continue that, probably check out the manga, watching The Office. I also recently read Tilly in Technicolor by Mazey Eddings, which was so cute. It's so cute.
I've also read it. Small hint to those who are listening on
maybe check out some Mazey Eddings
reviews in the future. Maybe you should be reading Mazey Eddings books.
Maybe some Mazey Eddings stuff should be on your TBR. But yeah, I really enjoyed Tilly in Technicolor. As you know, Hannah, this is a book about a young girl with ADHD who has an opportunity to take an internship with her sister's nail polish company in the UK.
And she has beautiful hands, so she is
a hand model, but she ends up having a interaction on the plane with a very cute boy, and it doesn't go that well on the plane, but surprise, surprise, guess who is her fellow intern when she gets to London? It is awkward plane ride situation.
Yep.
And they end up both working together for this nail polish company and having a lot of unique ideas and bring a lot to the company and help it grow over the summer. And they end up having a interesting relationship
Yes,
develop.
they do.
But it's a very cute story, and I really appreciate it from the standpoint of the portrayal of the main character Tilly, and also the way that her relationship with her family is portrayed, because she is often a little bit infantilized by
Yes.
and I shouldn't say a little bit, she is just infantilized by her mother and her sister at times
Yeah.
too, and they often kind of look down on her or uh speak to her in a way that I think was not considerate, because she has ADHD and thinks differently and does things in a different way that is harder for neurotypical people to understand at times.
Yes.
It, and so I found a lot of those moments to be difficult to read, but also I thought it was really good representation of like a mother who was almost a little overbearing, trying to make sure that their daughter was checking all the boxes and doing all the right things in order to not embarrass herself or the family. And it was an interesting portrayal, and I think that it was good representation, and I really liked that.
Yes.
I also really appreciated that we have another character in this book who is uh, neurodivergent and is autistic,
Yes.
and I think that they're portrayed in a really great light too, and a lot of the social interactions and how there's kind of a like almost uh a need to have social norms explained a little more to this
Yeah.
character was very effective in a
Hmm.
romance where miscommunications often occur. I thought
Yes.
this was a perfect way to
It's a different type of
incorporate.
miscommunication. And I am definitely here for what you've been saying about the mom. Hard agree. I also thought it was an
Mhm,
interesting look at because as someone with ADHD, undiagnosed technically, although I always
mhm,
say that I was diagnosed by a psychologist I lived with for 4 years, so I think that
mhm.
counts. But I think it was an interesting take on it because I was reading the mom and I was trying to give the mom as much grace as possible because it is a frustrating character because she does have this belief in societal norms and you should be doing this and you should be doing this and you should be doing this. But I also saw the mom as a little bit of this mom is an overbearing parent who is an empty nester for the first time and she is
Mhm.
freaking out. And
Yep.
also because Tilly has ADHD, she has certain reactions that are very normal for people with ADHD, where it's you feel critiques harder. They say you're a little bit more
Mhm.
sensitive to rejection and things like that. And
Yep.
so it also adds a layer of miscommunication where I'm ooh, in 10 years, I think Tilly would be like, oh, my mom was a terrible empty nester. And
Yep.
also, it hurt differently for me because of the way my brain works. And I was like, oh, this is such a fascinating take on it. And it's a YA
Yes.
novel. And so I think it's good for kids to read because it's showing a parent who's failing, but deeply loves you and is
Yes.
going about things the wrong way that may hurt you more because of it. So it
I would
was an
also say it's
excellent
good
book.
representation too from the standpoint of a sibling who is trying to
Yes.
interact with a sister who, a younger sister or younger sibling who they feel often kind of gets more attention and
Yes.
is quote unquote ruining moments for
Mhm.
them or taking the spotlight away because they're having a moment or this or
Or
that.
they don't get to struggle because the other sibling is always the one struggling in
Yes.
the room. I thought
And
that was
so
really good representation.
yes. So I did really like just the dynamics that were presented within Tilly's family. And I also think that just the combination of a person, two neurodiver divert two neurodivergent people in a relationship, one having autism and the other with ADHD, was actually a really great couple that seemed to work
Yeah.
really well for me. I don't know why that was, but it they really seemed to click as characters, and I think that their dynamics were just kind
And
of
also
awesome.
just like holla out to Macy for having a character be like, I like to be touched like this when they're 18, because 18-year-olds are, guess what? It's the weirdest time in your life to ask for things, but it's also the time
Hmm.
to learn what you like. And I think that that's very effective
It's
for young
actually a
kids to
really
read
good
about.
YA novel that I think I would definitely recommend to younger readers. I think it's
Yeah.
one that hits a lot of the right things
Hmm.
and is one that I would feel very comfortable having in the hands of younger readers who are trying to navigate very similar situations and feeling like they're not checking all the boxes for their parent or questioning why their brain works in a certain way.
Yeah. No,
But really enjoyed
100%.
it. And then I guess lastly, I've just been I played Calico with my husband the other
Oh,
day,
fun.
and we had fun doing that. And I think he and I both have played Cascadia together several times. And
Cascadia. Sorry.
sure, I always say Cascadia,
No, no, no.
but
That's just what we call it in my house. We always go
oh, okay,
Cascadia.
oh, got you. Uh, but Calico is similar to Cascadia,
Oh,
and
fun.
where it's a tile placement game, and uh, I now I'm like caught up in Cascadia. I can't. I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry. I disrupted Laura's brain with my vocal stim.
But um yeah, so we were playing Calico and we both played Cascadia, and I think my husband and I both find Calico harder. I had told him
Hmm.
it was harder, and I don't think he believed me because he's like looking at the artwork and he's like, "Oh, my wife likes this cute cat game that she wants to make me play this." And it's pretty tricky actually. So we played it a few times actually, and he beat me, of course, because I
He has a
classically
natural
am
affinity for
not
games.
great at games, even though I'll play them quite a bit. But I've just come to learn that I can play a game and I don't have to win it. And I'm okay with it anymore. So yeah, it was fun though to play it. And I'm glad that I'm kind of getting back into the swing of getting more board games to the table, whether they be played two-player or solo. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Hannah, what have you been reading, watching, and or enjoying?
Well, for books that you and I have both read, I read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang.
What did you think?
I really liked this book.
Hmm.
I think it's very,
This isn't my favorite R.F. Kuang, but
it's definitely not my favorite R.F. Kuang,
I really like it.
but also, I don't know. Part of me, like, because I know that this book is kind of heavily talked about, and lots of
Hmm.
people have lots of feelings on it, and they kind of feel like, I mean, there's criticisms of like the one character is a self-insert for R.F. Kuang. You know, Athena
Hmm.
is like so
Hmm.
amazing and da da da. And I think that that's almost like, okay, it's such a weird thing, but my reaction is like, and like R.F. Kuang's experience is she wrote a groundbreaking novel that sold so many copies. So like
Hmm.
she's going to make that character someone similar to her because this is a thriller outside of her typical genre, and she's going to play with that a little bit and play on what she knows. And
Yes.
this book is heavily bookstagram, and like this is a heavily online book in a lot of ways because
Hmm.
it is talking about stuff that happens in the publishing industry. It is talking about her own experience. And so I kind of had like a little bit of a, okay, who cares? Like R.F. Kuang is an amazing writer and she is really effective. So she made this self-insert character who is also very effective. She showed that Athena as a character was not the greatest. Like there are so many
Hmm.
hints that she is a complicated character and she
Hmm.
was very lonely and she didn't know what to do about it and she had a lot of self-hatred that like she made her a very effective person to kind of be complicated off the page.
Yeah.
And June is, and for people who don't know, Yellowface is about a book where you have this character, June, who is tangentially friends with someone named Athena, who has a better writing career than hers is at the
Hmm.
moment. June wrote one novel, but they both went to Yale. They both had this background. And Athena dies in the early chapters, and June takes,
Shockingly,
shockingly, and June takes a first draft of Athena's novel and recreates it and reworks certain sections of
passes it
it
as her
and
own.
passes it off as her own. Um, I I think this book is a really effective thriller. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
R.F. Kuang is the most effective thriller person in the world because the ending was a
I
little
will say though,
creepy for me, but like it was,
R.F. Kuang can write anything.
and she had, you could tell she had fun doing it. And so I'm kind of like,
Hmm.
yeah, I liked this book a lot because like it's
Yeah.
an effective look. and play with a genre that R.F. Kuang hasn't written in. And she is an excellent writer. So this was
Yep.
interesting to read about. And if she was going to dabble into thrillers, like I think this is the way for her to do it very effectively, which is talking about
Mm-hmm.
like the literary world or, the world of very rich liberal elites who will climb on each other to get higher on the echelon of fame.
Mm-hmm.
I do think June is an incredibly cringe-inducing character who
Oh yeah.
like is terrible. She's just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hard to empathize with, but I think this is where I'm like, no, Arf Kong is an amazing writer and this is an amazing thriller for one thing only of I never wanted June to win, but I always felt tense in the scenarios and was like, can she make it out? Like I was on the edge of my seat of like, can she
Yeah.
get away with it? And I think to have you hate a character so much,
So much and
but
still be like, oh no, hope you
but
survive.
yeah, like that's a weird line to draw. And like I was stuck in that where I really hated this character and I was like, no, she deserves to go down swinging. And it is painful to watch.
You're kind of making me want to reread this because I think it's been a few years since I read it because I feel like I read
Yeah.
it right when it came out and now I'm like kind of forgetting some of it and wishing that maybe I was on the same page
Well,
where I just
reread
had
it. Come
finished
back
it
to me
too.
next week. We'll do a bonus episode on it.
I don't know that I'll reread it, but
But no, it is interesting. And like, yeah, I think Athena was such an interesting character in this book when you learn about stuff. And I think Arv Kwong does like a very deft job of questioning like what is stealing when lots of writers are inspired by real things that happen to them in their life,
yes.
and what is using people? Because like obviously you and I have a podcast. We talk about family members, we talk about other things,
Hmm.
but like I think you and I also keep a very specific like line in the sand of what's too personal.
Hmm.
And I think like Athena was a character who went into the too personal and used certain things as fodder and it hurt people. And I do think that that's an interesting look and an interesting discussion point for artists.
Sure.
And so even that was like an interesting tale to weave as June is trying to be like, well, I didn't steal her work because I re-edited parts and I added characters. I'm like, you added a white character.
You did so little to change it.
Yeah, and it's like Athena spent years researching this like very specific time and she's like, but
Mhm.
I didn't steal it, but I didn't steal it. And it's like the lies we tell ourselves to
Right.
make ourselves feel better. Like no. And yikes. And like June was so terrible. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I didn't love the ending just because again it is a little too like weird, like I was just like, this
Mhm.
is coming out of nowhere. But other than that, but that's also thrillers. So I don't know
Yes.
why I'm having that
Why you
criticism because
expected
that's
anything else?
it was one of those where I read it and I was like, I don't know what I expected from the end. I
Yeah.
didn't I'm not like I read more thrillers than you. I probably enjoy them more than you do, but
Hmm.
I am more critical of them. So again, that is my criticism of
I'm
all
just so quick to
thrillers.
dismiss thrillers where I'm just like,
Yeah.
no.
And I'm like, I'll give them a chance. Sometimes you read a terrible book where she's like, it's called coercive control. It means he coerces me and controls me. And you're like, what am I reading? But no, I really liked this book. I thought it was very effective as a thriller, and
I will
Arf
say
Kwong
that
is an
a
amazing talent.
story
So
like this though, that I am specifically remembering like all the steps that June takes to try and like cover her ass basically.
yeah.
And I don't know why, but I feel like that is always effective in a from the standpoint of like making the viewer or the reader feel tense because
Mhm.
everyone can seemingly empathize with somebody who's done something wrong and is trying
Yes.
to make it seem like they didn't do anything wrong or cover that up. Because I challenge you to name me one person who hasn't been in even a small situation like that. But there's
Yes.
something so tense about reading that or like seeing someone try to maintain this facade like we have in this book and watching it all start to unravel that I think is really effective in this
Yes.
particular novel.
Yes. It's a very good novel. Everyone go read it. It's Arf Kwong. You
Yeah,
don't need us to tell
it's R.F.
you.
Kuang. She can write anything.
She could she could read me the phone book and I would be like, they're so beautiful. Um, but
She could write grocery lists that I would love.
and then for watching, Laura, This weekend, I took a journey into my question of the year. Is
Mhm.
Pedro Pascal talented or is he just charismatic?
What did you watch?
I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage, the movie where
Okay.
Nick Cage plays Nick Cage,
Okay.
and Fantastic Four. We had considered doing,
Fantastic Four
we had
is
considered
so
doing, okay,
boring.
I felt, full disclosure, everyone, I can't give a reasonable review of Fantastic Four because I did sleep through a very large portion of it.
That
But,
says it all, Hannah.
but I did
That
wake
is
up.
the review. You're done.
I did wake up and think, I don't want to rewatch what I just slept through.
Bingo. The
It's
review's done of it. How did you feel about the Nick Cage movie?
Laura's not even gonna let me keep talking. I just one more thing on that. Why was Johnny
No, I'm
Storm's
just
only
joking.
personality trait I love space and women?
I
We
must be
couldn't do
with a space woman.
we couldn't do anything better for Eddie than like I got so mad in the first scene where he's like, I understand my sister's pregnant, but when are we getting up into space again? And I was like, they obviously struggled with infertility. They don't know what it's like
Yes.
having a child with their superpowers.
Hmm.
Why on earth would you be like, but space? You're not letting me get up into space. That's the dumbest plot
I'm
line
really just trying to stretch my limbs here. Like,
And then you just have Cuz in the middle of it all being like, I guess I like Natasha
I guess I was on
Leone.
the bear.
I just bared my way into this movie, apparently. And
I think
everyone,
what we can take from that movie is that the reason that Ibn Masbarak was in it was because the bear was very popular at
yes,
this time.
it's so wild. And I'm so sorry.
You
That
know who I
woman
really
was
liked in that
not
movie
pregnant in that movie.
was Storm.
Oh yeah, Sue Storm
Sue
or
Storm was the
okay,
best
because
in
Johnny
the.
Storm is another Storm, and I did
That's
not care for
not him.
him.
No, no, no. Sue Storm.
The only thing
Sue
I
Storm
didn't
was the one that I thought carried that movie, and I
I slept
I
through
don't know.
most her parts, unfortunately. But I will say they couldn't have done anything to make her look just a little actually pregnant other than just sticking a giant belly on her. They couldn't
No,
have like given her another layer of clothing. She had to have
absolutely
the
not.
tiniest arms and the tiniest boobs imaginable, and
I
then the
will say though,
biggest
Hannah,
tummy.
she was in fact pregnant during the press
What?
tour for this,
Oh, during the
and
press
she
tour.
looked nearly the same as they.
Okay, maybe I'm just picky on my skinny pregnant women, but like,
My
and
here's my thing, Hannah. She's
not
one
to
of those
body
pregnant
shame
people that
you.
you hate.
Okay, not to body shame her, but I was just like, man, they just stuck a belly on her, didn't they?
She's
Um,
one of those people that likely had the baby and then just like immediately was like, whoop, right back
yeah,
to normal. And you're like, I
she's
hate everything. Come
very
on.
pretty, but that was a terrible movie, and it really, really hurt Pedro Pascal's chances of being actually talented, guys, because he gave us nothing in that movie, and she's a very beautiful woman. I don't think they had chemistry between the two of them. Like, I just don't. I never believed they were actually married. Like, at one point, he says, "You need gravity to push," and I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I so forgot that she's like in labor as they're like traveling through space and like things are on fire and everything. And there's somebody that's trying to get them.
And he goes, You need gravity to push. And then he pushes her down onto a table. And all I could think was, It's not like he's like super heavy. What do you mean? Like, what gravity are you working against? You're pushing your wife on a table. And then I
You reminded
proceeded
me, you're making
to
me
fall
actually
asleep.
like feel angrier about this movie because I remember watching it and just being like, it was a movie. It wasn't very good. It was just a movie. I probably
No,
won't rewatch it. My thing is, people really loved that movie, and I have questions.
I
The way that people feel about certain Marvel movies blows my mind.
I think they saw it as like something new and fresh. And I was like, yeah, it was
Was
new
it?
but I don't think so because like there was nothing new or fresh about it. I think it was just like
No.
a different world and people really liked that world. But at the same time, no, you didn't. I'm so sorry.
The only
Um
thing I can glean from that is that
Also,
people just really love Pedro Pascal.
I'm so sorry. The funniest moment of that. I'm
The
gonna laugh.
very last scene where they're trying to put the baby in the car seat.
No, I didn't care about that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Laura, there's a scene where Sue Storm and Pedro Pascal walk in to dinner. And her brother goes, You're late. And she pauses and goes, Huh? And then he's like, For dinner. And I said, was the implication that her brother
Her
knew her
period was
period was
late.
late. Like, she was confused that Johnny Storm may know that she has not gotten her period yet. And that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. What do you mean?
Mm.
That's an insane thing to think. Like, I'm so sorry. Even if you were pregnant and you walked in and someone was like, "You're late," you would never be like, "Oh, they know I'm on my period."
How do they know?
That is the funniest thing. But on the other
I think
side of
we should
things,
cover the materialists
but
for
that's the
a
thing is,
TV Tuesday.
we were supposed to do The Materialists and Fantastic Four, and I said I really don't want to watch The Materialists, and so instead we watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage.
Was
Have
Pedro
you?
Pascal in this?
Yes. Have you? Do you
Okay.
not know what this movie is about?
No, I have no idea
Okay.
what it is.
There's a very
I'm
famous
I'm not
GIF.
really a big fan of Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
He
okay.
kind of
There's a
annoys me
very
a little
famous
bit.
GIF of like Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal in a car, and lots of people have been like utilizing
Oh
that.
yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
seen this.
so this is from this movie. So in this
Hmm.
movie, it's supposed to be kind of the like meta joke of like Nicolas Cage is a ridiculous human. So Cage plays Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Sure.
And he's like running out of money. He's going through a divorce. He has a daughter he's not connecting with because he only connects with her through his love of the movies he likes. And he gets offered to go to this birthday party where Pedro Pascal like hired him to come spend a weekend with him. And then
Hmm.
he ends up liking Pedro Pascal. They sort of start this buddy movie, but there's this overarching plot of like, is Pedro Pascal a crime lord boss or not? But it
Okay.
takes a good 20 minutes until you find out that that's what the plot is. This movie takes a while to get going. And this was a very well received movie. Like it got an
Was it?
85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm.
My thing with this movie is it is funny once you get to the actual like jokes of the movie, but it took too long to get there. And then so much happens so fast, and you're just kind of, and I honestly think they didn't go hard on Nicolas Cage enough. Like they tried to make a fake version of Nicolas Cage who's like
Okay.
married with this daughter, and then the whole arc is like he has to become a better father. And I was like, I kind of just want the whole thing to be like Nicolas Cage needs to be a better actor, or like not even a
Nicolas
better
Cage just
actor,
needs
but
to
he
be a
needs to
better
like
Nicolas Cage.
he needs to read the room better. But by making it about like his wife and daughter, it kind of like took out the teeth from like it's almost like they had to convince him to do this movie by being like, but see, it's not you because
It's
you're
not just you. We'll make you a
yeah.
good guy. Don't worry, Nicolas Cage.
And so that part made me a little bit like annoyed because I was like, I just wish they'd been better about it. But there are very funny moments in this movie, even if you're not a Nicolas Cage fan, because I'm
I
not a
think I
huge
probably would
Nicolas.
enjoy it because I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan. He kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I can't recognize that he's done a lot of good movies and a lot of
Right.
people love him.
And like there are very funny moments where like not to spoil I'll spoil one scene where he's supposed to be helping figure out if Pedro Pascal is a criminal mastermind. And
Hmm.
he's texting someone and he goes, I accidentally took acid. And they go, what the fuck? And he goes, he goes, it's fine or something, da da da, BRB. Or he goes, I think I just took acid, BRB. And you're like, and we kept walking around all weekend being like, BRB.
BRB.
That's very funny. And there is also a moment where someone's like, you have to kill Nicolas Cage. And when you do hear someone deliver a dramatic line about shooting Nicolas Cage, you are going to laugh. It's just
Sure.
funny.
He is,
Um,
I think, one of those actors that has like reached a certain level now that like if you reference him in a certain way, it is kind of hilarious like that.
yeah, like, and Pedro Pascal was charming in this movie, but was he a good actor?
Mhm.
I think the answer is probably not as good as you think he should be.
You know what?
Yeah.
I I think that so far he seems like a very good human being.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Hannah. He may just be someone that's kind of feeding off of the performances of the people around him and kind of mirroring
Yeah, I think you mentioned that you think that he just mirrors other people's talent and like
their
so
energy.
if you're getting a good energy, then you're getting a good Pedro
Hmm.
Pascal
Yes.
role, and if not, because like he's very effective on SNL skits I've seen him on.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
can be hilarious.
but it's interesting when you have like a star leading man. It's
I
when he
did like
has to
his
lead.
performance in Game of Thrones also. I mean, like he
Yeah.
did really well in Game of Thrones. I've heard that he's great in Narcos too, so I'll have to
Oh
check out
yeah.
that.
But right now, I think he might just be charismatic, guys. So
Mhm. We
again, he can
we
do
did
things
the
I
thing to we
cannot.
do this thing to like certain actors where we like them in something and then we're like we must see them in everything and then we're
Yes.
burnt out because we did that to Jennifer Lawrence as well. To the
Yes.
point that now Jennifer
Shh.
Lawrence is like I hate seeing how I was in interviews back then. And I'm like that kind of makes me sad that she went so far
I know.
that she's now just like, I hate that I was too much. And I'm like, you weren't too much. We actually,
You
everyone loved
weren't.
you. Like, I don't know. It
I
makes me a
don't
little
know.
bit sad that we've gotten to that point with certain actors that we're just like, we use them too much in things and then
Hmm.
we decide we don't want them anymore. And then these are actual people who then take
Yes.
these things very personally rather than us being more normal and just like let's diversify how many people we cast in things so we don't
Right.
get burnt out on a specific actor.
Right. Also, don't come at me if you think Pedro Pascal is a good actor. I'm sure he is a fine actor. I can't act the way he acts, and he has been a
I mean, this is
working
mostly
man
just a joke. He
since
is a good actor. That
1996.
this is mostly just a joke
Yeah.
that we have, but he is a good actor, and we can definitely acknowledge this. And he's also one of the most handsome men alive. Like we won't not be putting that up for
Uh,
debate. And like I
yes.
said, he seems like a very nice human who seems to be so
Yes.
far on the right side of history. So
Yes. But also, if we could make jokes about women who are fine actors but not amazing, I think
yeah,
that that's where this comes from, where I'm like, man, he is
yeah,
booked and busy, and I'm just not
mhm,
sure he's like the most spectacular actor I've seen in
yep,
the world. Like, but yeah, with that said, I watched two of his films, and The
good job.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is an interesting film. And Laura, I would
I
be
might have to
interested
check that
in
one out.
what your thoughts are. Yeah, it's free on Amazon, so you could definitely watch
Okay,
it. But shall we dive into the Heavenly Sword, part
the
two?
second half,
So where we left off, Sayur was in dire straits.
and she's like bleeding out.
She's bleeding out. She has a moment where she can see herself kind of dying. She like removes herself
Hmm.
from her body. It's not looking good. She sees her family,
Hmm.
but as she goes up to the heavens, someone says she has work to do and slams her back down into her body.
Hmm.
And so she survives. She sees her
Hmm.
grandpa and they do reconnect. He is torn because he has made a vow to follow Buddha, but he
Yes.
also feels this connection to his family. And she's like, well, we're family. I want to reconnect with you. And he agrees to see her father, even though he's been estranged for
Hmm.
years. We also find out that Pearlie is close by. So we kind of have this family reunification. We do find out that Ba had kind of kept his father a secret because he didn't know how to talk about the fact that he had abandoned them, but it's complicated
There's a
because he
level of
abandoned them for,
trauma there.
yeah, and he abandoned him for the greater good. So he understands, but he also is very hurt by it. There's just a lot of
Hmm.
complexities to that. We are also getting more characters nowadays, because we have
Yes.
um Yalan, who is one of Sayur's like students almost, who's coming into the forefront.
Hmm.
And she's going to be heavily involved in the second half of the plot, and she offers to show them a stronghold nearby, because they're unable to go see Pearlie because Pearlie is kind of with her
Hmm.
sect of people who are dedicated to their craft and they can't stay with her. So we head over to the stronghold and we learn that Judy is beheading those who went against him and his family. Pearlie
You
is
know,
at
as all normal leaders do.
yeah,
Just.
just keep people with control.
Hmm.
Um, Pearlie is coming into the compound from time to time now, and during this time, we also find out that Ahlong is murdered. He was the child from the previous section, and
Hmm.
this hits everyone incredibly hard because he is so young, and he hadn't really done anything wrong at this point.
I think it kind of just like opens like people's eyes a little bit to like
Yes.
the lengths that things are going, the lengths that people are taking things now.
Well, and something we didn't talk about in the previous section, is the fact that they have a very strict code of morals, and one of them is that they
Hmm.
do not kill those who wronged them. Even if
Yes.
they are the evil prince, they think that there is
Hmm.
value in life, and they do not want people murdered. And so, with the murder of
Hmm.
Along, it kind of turns that on its head, and it really challenges them because how do you forgive those who did incredible harm to your
Yes.
family? And we also find out that it was Lin Sun, Sayer's own husband, who sold
Yeah.
him out and
The
killed
betrothed.
Along. And he wants to turn in Sayer's father and collect the reward on it and her grandfather. Uh, Sayer goes to his mother to tell him tell her what happened, and she does beg for her son's life. She's like, "I know he's
Hmm.
terrible, but please." just don't kill him. They do handle the getting the coffin for Athlong, and Sayer goes to a meeting and gives this large speech in front of all of the people who are with them
Yep.
about what this means for them and what it means to fight. And she asks for aid of others. And at this point, she's kind of being elected commander in chief because she is just such
They
a
all
strong,
rally around
powerful.
her.
Yeah. There is a man who challenges her as commander in chief because she
Hmm.
is a woman and she fights him easily.
Hmm.
So they run into Wukong, who is this like godlike being who set up the Sky Wolf,
Hmm.
or who allegedly set up the Sky Wolf. So when Chang'e talked to the Sky Wolf, he said that Wukong set him up and is lying. And so Sayer finally meets him and he reaffirms what happened to the Skywolf. He's like, nope, he raped
Yes.
those women. Neja knows what happens. Please talk to him. And we also find out that he can clone others and he agrees to create clones of
Which is super
Along with
interesting.
powers. I know I was not expecting clones.
Hmm.
Attack of the Clones even later. But
Aha, Star Wars.
and then suddenly, for the first time in this novel, really, we have this shift into Sunbow's third person perspective.
Yes.
He is reporting to the prince. We find out through this that he does. I mean, we kind of knew this, but it's always like one of those where Binong is like, he doesn't like you, but we do
Hmm.
find out he has strong feelings for Sair, and he
Yes.
admits he wouldn't be able to hurt her. And the prince is kind of punishing him for his lack of action against Sair. He takes
Hmm.
Sanbao's aunt and uncle hostage, and they oversee the trial of the chief minister who his family was being beheaded in the prior
Hmm.
section. And he refuses to write a royal inaugural address for the emperor. And he points out that the prince is killing scholars. Like he's like, you are not for the
Hmm.
people. I'm not going to help you with this. And he is killed. Sunbao wonders if he could potentially get posted somewhere far away, like Sayer had recommended to him
Right.
way back when all of this had not happened yet. And he talks to Monk Yao about it, and Monk Yao is not always helpful because he is sort of loyal to the prince, but he does
Hmm.
agree to teach Sunbao Buddhism.
Yeah. So he
Sayer,
becomes an acolyte.
Sayer go Star Wars up and down. Sayer
So
goes
much Star
to
Wars.
confront Lin San, and they
Mhm.
discuss the murder of Along. He's kind of not remorseful. He's like, we need the money. You don't understand. This is ridiculous.
He's
And
very cold, honestly, which is weird.
he's kind of the worst.
Yeah, he is awful.
And weirder, he kidnaps her. And
Hmm.
he kind of like takes her, he attempts to rape her pretty much. And then Yusu
Hmm.
enters pretending to be Pearly. We find out like she was part of the subterfuge, and she stops him from assaulting Sayer and ends up killing him and
Hmm.
paralyzing Sayer and taking her to the prince. They were looking for the amulet that Sayer kept on her that was gotten from the tunnels, but she had given it over to her grandfather for safekeeping, and she wonders what the prince will do to her. Then we kind of get cutscenes with everyone else and what's going on. We get like
Yeah.
Binyang's perspective. He
Hmm.
returns, he finds out about Along. He finds men torturing women and refugees on his way, and he takes anger out on him. He
We get
discuss
Yinho.
We meet Yinho a little bit more, and he seems to be helping with fighting across the country. And he and
Hmm.
Bin Hong are kind of talking about like what they're supposed to be doing and what it means to
Yes.
fight and what next steps they need to take, especially with Sayer. And then they are
Hmm.
informed about Sayer's capture from Sun Bao, or they get a
Hmm.
letter from him. We don't exactly know what was in the
Right.
letter. Sayer is paralyzed and taken across the country. Monk Yao has little interest in Yusu when he arrives. Like
Hmm.
Yusu kind of enters and she thinks she's going to get this pomp and circumstance by bringing Sayer back, and no one cares about this
That
woman.
no, they do not care. They're just like,
Um,
oh, okay.
yeah, you can
So
leave now.
what do you want us to do with her? Is basically what they're like.
Monk Yao seems compassionate towards Sayer, but he is willing to help the prince, so it's like only go
Hmm.
so far. But Sunbao does help her escape originally, and he puts his cloak over her. It's very romantic. She runs and has
Hmm.
sensual dreams about him, and then she is immediately caught again. The prince
Yeah.
tries to get her to agree to be his empress. She struggles because, like, a lot of this is her questioning what her role is, and as this reincarnated moon goddess,
Hmm.
what she should do for the Sky Wolf. Should she try to make him change for good? Should she take on the duty of
Mm-hmm.
marriage? Um, and she doesn't really know. She struggles with this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He does do the bare minimum of like, look, I'm not going to rape you.
Right.
I'm evil and I'm going to show off your naked body to Sunbao, but I'm not going to rape you. And in this moment, she kind of clocks that he's a very jealous man
Yeah.
and she wants to protect Sunbao, so she mocks him in order to
Mm-hmm.
keep him safe. She's then sent over to her own area, like room, to be waited on by staff as Judy tries to coerce her into marrying him. Uh,
Yes.
the women are
Which he's
making
not very good at.
no, he's terrible. And the women are also terrible. They make
Oh
comments on her
yeah.
clothing and her feet, and she's just kind of not having it. She's like, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
warrior. My body is used for greater things than
Mm-hmm.
this. And Sunbao comes to her to sort of explain his actions away again. He
Yeah.
talks about how Judy has coerced him, how he's been stuck like this. It's all a lot.
Yeah.
But in this moment, they do end up having sex in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Sunbao is a eunuch, but we're not going to get into the morals or the discussions of penetrative sex versus unpenetrative. But I would
Sure.
say that what they have is sex, but she does appear to
Mm-hmm.
maintain her powers after this. So
Mm-hmm.
question mark, but something happens. And the next day she does prepare to accept the prince's proposal. But
Yes.
then he puts General Tai on trial instead for treason. And
Mm-hmm.
Tai won't back down, being like, you are not the real emperor. You are not in
Yeah.
power. And Tai is beheaded for this. And she gives up on the prince in this moment. She's just like, nope,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it.
This is
I,
kind of like the straw that breaks the camel's back
yeah.
because she was kind of like contemplating, like, well, maybe I do have a duty to do this. Maybe this is something that is part of my purpose. And then this happens, and she's like, okay, no.
I'm so sorry. It's just that moment in Community where it's like, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal
You
cruelty.
can excuse racism.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
one of the best jokes that was just like such a
Yes.
throwaway. Um, I, for your information, there is an episode of Happy Days where Fonzie literally jumps over a shark, and it was the best one. Also one that tickles me. Sorry. So. She does give up on the prince and goes start like shrieking in the hall. Like something is
Hmm.
overtaken in this moment with the death of Tai, and she takes a dagger to the prince and threatens to kill him. And she
Hmm.
almost does. But then again, it is very important to everyone of the good guys to not cross that line. So instead, she
Correct.
runs. She does still have the North Star fight in her, so that is also important.
Hmm.
Uh, she runs after fighting Monk Yao. They kind of fight pretty much to the draw. He lets her go because he's like, I respect you. You have fought a
Well, he
fair
knows of
fight.
like her master and everything, her
Hmm.
dad. So he's like, you're clearly skilled, and I respect that. And
So he kind of lets her go. So he has the same, set of morals in
hmm.
some ways. Uh, and so she runs, she stops at this hotel area and she does at an inn. And she
Hmm.
finds General Tai's son and convinces him to come back with her after a night's rest.
Hmm.
We caught on over to Binong and the rest,
Hmm.
and they find out that Sayer escaped and should be home soon. So that's the letter they found. Um,
Hmm.
Sunbao warned them that she should be on her way, but Binong is getting itchy. Her grandfather asks if Binong is in love with Sayer, and he does admit that he is in love with her.
Yes.
They also discuss Fashen's relationship with Pearlie, and he goes off to see her because he sees her like walking.
Hmm.
But then Binong runs into Pearlie, and they realize it
Yeah.
was Yusu. All if I had a nickel for every time Yusu pretended to be Pearlie, I would have like
Apparently.
6 nickels. But she is trying to tempt Fashion with this
Hmm.
love song. He's almost there, but then she is thwarted, and she blames Pearlie for him not loving her so bad, and
Hmm.
everyone around her is like, dude, it's just you weren't the one. Um,
Right.
but she tries to kill Pearlie and ends up killing Sayer's grandfather, Fashan.
Yep.
So Sayer comes back and she finds out about her grandfather and she says goodbye
Hmm.
to him. Bin Young is also he also has like the best point of something that like I think a lot of people in this novel would benefit from for being like, "Hey, Sayur, isn't it weird that like you just ran into the general's son right after he died? Like, shouldn't we be? Could that be
We
a
need to ask
trap?"
some more questions. Like,
Like, uh,
that
and
seems like something's not
and
right.
and
Something's
she's
up.
like, "No, it's fine." And then immediately she's like, "I don't think it was fine. I
You're
think,
right.
in fact, the green dragon is in our midst." And it
Hmm.
attacks immediately. Um, they utilize Alang's clones, and she goes and she talks to the dragon during this battle as he's trying to destroy everything. He destroys like her childhood home. It's a
Hmm.
huge mess. And she makes a deal with the dragon to convince one of the other gods, Gunyan, to get the dragon's daughter to return to the Crystal Palace. She left and she
Yes.
has no interest in coming back. He's like, I don't think you will be able to do it, and I don't think I should
Hmm.
leave if you can't do it. And she promises to get him 10 maidens if she does not. Um, and we also find out during this time that Yulan's family has betrayed her. She has no family anymore. They like left for the other
Hmm.
side, and she's going to stick with Sayur. So it's this like ending battle that's a little sad, and we don't know what's going to happen to
Sure.
everyone. So she does try and go talk to the little dragon princess, who is like, "No, my dad's a monster. I'm not going back there."
Hmm.
Um, but it gives time for Shang-Yi, Sayur in a different form, to talk
Yes.
to the Empress, and she warns her that um, there was another reincarnate person who was the birth mother
Hmm.
of the lynx nymph, and she is now the prince's favorite consort. And that means that Sayur is in danger because this woman will be going after her. And she's told to go get help from Erlang Shen. And then we finally meet Neja during this time. He has the sword
Yeah.
to fight the green dragon. He's ready for it. He said like it needed to be powered up in a way, which is why it was important that he received the sword.
Hmm.
And we get this very sad, tragic backstory of Nesho. We finally learn about him trying to save a small girl from this demon's son or from, yeah, this demon's
Hmm.
third son, and in doing so, angering the green dragon, and how he was punished for it, kind of by like everyone around him, when he
Yeah.
was just doing his best and he was making this
Well, and he was like
sacrifice.
young at this point, correct?
Yeah, he was really young and he was just like he met someone in danger and he wanted to step up and be the
Hmm.
good in the world, and
Yep.
instead he gets put into this palace, and it's tragic. Um and we kind of have them regrouping after this, where Sayur is ready to face the challenge. She's saying that there are
Hmm.
plans to go talk to the consort and meet her on her level. If she's a danger, she wants to see what's going on. And she needs to fight off the green dragon. And they also want to hex the consort to scare
Hmm.
her. So we have some plans in the mix, and it just got dicier. But
This
that
is where
is
it
the
ends,
end of the first book. The
where
second
they're
book,
basically like, you're gonna have to figure out what happens if you, or you're gonna have to figure out what happens in the next book
yep,
because we're on a quest and you'll have to find out in
book two.
book two.
And the quest is not over, but this episode might be soon. No, but if you enjoyed this book, definitely check out next week's episode. And Laura, what did you
Hmm.
think of the book?
I really liked it. I really
Yeah.
liked it. I think it's an interesting blend of mythology and there's a lot of action and I I did find it really interesting actually.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting book. And we got to talk to Alice about it next week,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited for everyone to hear that because I think Alice has such a wealth of knowledge of her interpretation of this book and what this book means to her, and just
Yeah.
writing this epic. It's very interesting. So I do think it's a
It was
very
a really good
big
interview, and
novel
I'm
and
glad
very
we were
good.
able to talk to Alice about it and kind of get some of the insight as to some of the decisions that were made with the writing and what is to come in the future.
Yes, exactly. So make sure you check that out. And,
Yeah.
just as a thank you, because obviously next week's is an interview episode, thank you
Hmm.
for joining us on this indie mission. Laura and
Yes.
I like to use this time to highlight indie authors because indie authors do a lot of work to advertise and
Hmm.
bring their books to the world. And
Yes.
we recognize that labor of love, which is why we like to do these little highlight episodes in between our seasons. It's very important to us. And we're so honored whenever we get to talk to one of the authors and they make the decision to come on the show. So thank you to
I think
Alice for
we
doing
both
that.
really just appreciate all the work that indie authors do. And I think that we both recognize that publishing is such a difficult road,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are so many people who have great works that are out there. But like I said, it's a difficult road. So the road to traditional publishing is very difficult. So there are
Mm-hmm.
lots of great works that have been independently published that we are trying to kind of shine a light on and kind of open people's reading experience up a little more.
Yep. So please know that that is important to us and we enjoyed it so much. And
Hmm.
this is always a great experience. So we just want to
Absolutely.
thank Alice for her work and bringing it to us and
Yeah.
thank everyone. If you enjoy listening to this episode or any of our other episodes, if you turned in just for Alice's works, please stick around. You know, we cover a lot
Check
of
out some of our
stuff
other
and
episodes. You might like
yeah,
them.
we do cover other indie authors, like we said, and we have nice author highlights located right now, I think, in YouTube and in our Spotify. So you can definitely check out a lot of our other author
Hmm.
highlights as we go through. Or you can follow us at owwrpod.com or owwrpod on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok sometimes. You can also
Yeah.
join our Discord or join us on Patreon. $3 a month gets you extra bonus episodes. Right now, we're covering the Dresden Files TV
Yes.
series. So, and then if you would be so kind, please rate, review, and subscribe. Rating, reviewing, and
Yeah, it
subscribing
really helps.
it does help. And everyone tells you that on every podcast ever.
But it
But we
truly
mean
does.
it. It does. So
And telling a
please,
friend also is like hugely important. So if you have a friend that you think might be interested in some of our episodes, uh, please send them our way.
please do. So, and we
And thanks for
appreciate
listening
you.
today.
Bye.
Bye.